Wolf Called Wander by Rosanne Parry. Narrated by Fraser Readman. Chapter 7. Raven. All the next day I sleep. The stiff bark over my cut itches, but my tongue is too dry for licking. My leg hurts, but it will bear weight. In the cool of the night I walk toward the smell of water as slowly as a bear walks out of its winter den. At sunrise, I see a ditch full of water ahead. The stench of cattle is thick on the ground, but I do not care. Without water, I will die. A few steps closer, and the scent of men stops me in my tracks. In the mountains, we found the smell of men around circles of stones and ashes. It is the smell Mother taught me to fear above all others. Men are the worst of all dangers. Unpredictable. Even bears, with all their seasonal moods, are easier to understand than men. I duck low in the grass and watch. There is no sight or sound of men. I creep closer and get a look smell at the prints. I am in no shape to fight or even run, but these prints have no toes, just a pad in back and another pad in front. Maybe this man cannot run either. Mother says they are fast for only having 2 legs, but they cannot fly like all the other 2-leggers. I cannot risk a fight, so I wait. Even though I am more thirsty than I have ever been, even though the sun is rising, and with it the heat, and with that my thirst, still I wait and listen. And when I am sure, completely sure, that the men are gone, I dash for the water and plunge my head in. Even with the stink of cattle, nothing in my life has ever tasted sweeter than that clear, cold water. I drink until my belly is full. I find a hidden spot and doze all day long in the soft green grass. Mice come to the water, and birds and rabbits. They are all too fast for me. By moonlight, a lumbering raccoon comes to drink. In one agonizing leap, I crush it. Pain shoots up my shoulder as I eat. The next morning I am still lying in the grass and nibbling on the bones when a single raven swoops down and lands beside me. For a long time she regards me with her one-eyed stare. This raven is black as dirt after a fire, just like all the rest, but she has a bare patch on her chest, picked clean of feathers. I look at it carefully. She looks at the brown bark on my chest just as carefully. What could have happened to her? She flies as well as I used to run. Why has she come to watch me so intently? I look at the bones around me. I have eaten every scrap. In my hunger, I left nothing for vultures or ravens or any other creature in need. Father would be ashamed of me. I sniff the skeleton and find a scrap of meat left on a leg bone. I nudge it toward the raven. I remember how ravens talked to my father, how they led him to food and he thanked them with a gift of scraps. I need my pack, and maybe this raven can help me find them. I would give an entire elk to know what she can see from the air. I dip my head to her, as I have seen birds do. She dips her head in return, but does not take the meat. She circles around me, making a low, rattling call. I have seen a raven do this to an eagle that had caught a rabbit. The raven kept circling behind the eagle and pulling his tail feathers. A test. To attack the raven, the eagle would have to let go of the rabbit. Except for wolves, nobody hunts as well as an eagle. As I watched, I waited for the eagle to strike the raven dead. But even though the eagle towered over the raven, outweighed it, had far greater reach of wing, the eagle simply swallowed a few more bites of his kill and flew away. At the time, it gave me hope in my quest to make Sharp lower his tail to me. The largest creature doesn't always win. Daring and persistence can triumph in the end. But now the raven's game makes me nervous. What could she want from me? I have given her all the meat I have left. I get to my feet. The pain in my shoulder is less, but it feels stiff when I spin around to meet the raven face to face. She takes a few flaps backward and circles behind me again. I spin in the other direction. It isn't so stiff on that side. I shake out my matted fur and growl at her. She fluffs up her neck feathers and caws at me. I should have asked Father how to speak to ravens. He seemed to understand them without words. The raven takes a scrap of bone in her beak and flies away. She climbs sharply, drops the bone directly over my head, and then dives for it. Against my will, I crouch as she plummets toward me, and then, with a sharp whomp of opening tail feathers, she catches the bone in her claws, pulls out of the dive, and circles me with chatters of victory. A good trick. She flies off ahead, but, in my clear sight, drops the bone and dives for it again. This is no pup's game. Ravens do things for a reason. She is talking to me. She must know where to find meat. For all their savvy, ravens have the wrong beak for opening a hide. They need someone with teeth to get at the meat. I follow her, walking at first, but as my stiff leg loosens, I manage a slow trot. She takes me out across the prairie, away from the water. There are countless game trails, each smell distracting me, but I cannot run fast enough to take down a coyote or a deer. One of the trails has a man smell. My father never hunted elk without checking for it. We walked away from easy pickings when the scent of men was on the ground. I am happy when the raven leads me away from that path. The sun rises high in the sky, and I am weary enough to stumble when I hear the sound of rushing water. I stop listen. There is no water smell. I can only smell hay and mint and a few other things I have never smelled before. I pause and lift my head, turning from side to side to make sense of what my nose tells me. We come over a rise in the ground, and before me is a green meadow, with no elk or deer or any other good thing in it. Only nodding rows of dark green mint stretching on in unnatural straight lines. Mother showed me a man's home ground once. From far away, it had plants in straight rows and great patches of bald earth. Men do things for no reason, she said. A man sat upon a noise-making thing and rode its back around and around in wide circles over the dirt. For no reason. There was good water to one side of him, and a deer with her fawn hiding in the dappled shade of an aspen on the other side of him. He had no use for food or water. Men do much with dirt, Mother said, but they can kill with a look and a loud noise. Keep your distance. There is no understanding them. The plants in rows make me anxious, and I raise the fur on my shoulders to say so. But the raven coaxes me along. At least there is water and a ditch to drink. On the far side is a black river, a raven black river, completely still, frozen in the heat of summer. The noisemakers of men go down this frozen black river faster than I can run. It smells like death. I am weary and disappointed. This is no place for a wolf. My family would never look for me here. I sit down and refuse to budge. The raven circles over my head and then swoops toward the shore of the black river. In my disgust, I ignore her. The raven, just as stubbornly, swoops from me to the shore and back again. I do not care. I am not moving a step closer. In all the shock of bad smells and loud noises, I almost don't hear the coyotes. They scamper around the mint field in a yapping yellow mass. They go to the raven and, with yelps of glee, fall upon whatever she has shown them. My stomach rumbles and water runs at my mouth. I have not eaten since yesterday. I need a full belly in order to heal as I should. I stand up and make my way toward the feeding coyotes. If they see I'm injured, they will turn on me. But if I can scare them away with a howl, I can carry off some meat. I warily circle downwind of them and then stand at the top of the ridge. I raise my head and let out my fiercest howl. The coyotes scatter as though they have been swept up by a storm. My tail rises to see them disappear into the tall grass beyond the farm. I turn back to claim my prize. It is small. Much of it is already gone. I am too hungry to complain, but then I see the paw, not the broad hoof of an elk, nor the narrow one of a deer. A paw, 5 pads and 4 claws. What skin is left shows brown spots on white and soft, drooping ears. I turn away in disgust. I will be much hungrier than I am now before I stoop to take such leavings from a pack of witless coyotes. I turn and walk away. As the sun lowers and the air cools, I hear a howl, and for a moment hope leaps up in me. But it is only the bachelor wolves, just those 2, and no family of mine. I ache from ears to tail. I want my pack. Still, any wolf is better than none. I turn toward their howling and lope away.